Here are the richest countries in the world by GDP per capita. We start with number 15, Israel, with a GDP per capita of $54,111. Despite being in the middle of one of the world's longest and most complicated ongoing conflicts, Israel enjoys a fairly prosperous and developed economy, thanks in part to an excellent education system that produces highly educated and motivated individuals. One of Israel's largest economic sectors is in the field of high technology. Because of this, many of the biggest names in the tech industry, such as Microsoft, Apple, IBM, and Google, all have research and development facilities and offices in the country. Much of these tech companies can be found in what is known as Silicon Wadi, a region in Israel that serves as a center for cutting-edge technology similar in vein to the U.S.'s Silicon Valley. In fact, when it comes to the number of startup companies, Israel is second in the world only behind the U.S. Other than its well-developed high-tech sector, the country is also known for its diamond industry, which accounts for almost a quarter of global exports. 14th place is the Netherlands, with $57,871. As a historical powerhouse when it comes to trade and shipbuilding, the Netherlands of today serves as one of the most important transportation and shipping hubs inside the European Union. Coupled with its strategic location by the North Sea and the hundreds of kilometers of interconnected canals within the country, it isn't difficult to see why the Dutch economy heavily relies on foreign trade. The Netherlands is home to Europe's largest port, located in Rotterdam, which sees more than 30,000 ships and almost 500 million tons of cargo each year. To put this into perspective, about 40% of all goods that are imported into Europe pass through this one massive port at the heart of the country. Number 13 is Sweden, with $60,730. Having been a neutral power during the Second World War, Sweden, unlike most of its neighboring European countries, did not have to go through a post-war economic rebuilding process. Because of this, its major industries such as timber and iron ore managed to develop almost completely unhindered during the 20th century. Today, wood and iron-related products such as paper, pulp, and steel remain as the primary exports of the country, fueling its trade-oriented economy. In addition to these main industries, Sweden is also known for their engineering sector, which makes up half of the country's entire output and exports. This includes the telecommunications, technology, and automotive industries, with some of the largest Swedish corporations such as Volvo, Electrolux, and Ericsson all falling under this category. Today, although Sweden's main exports still remain to be timber and iron, an ever-increasing skilled labor force continues to develop the country's service sector. Number 12, Qatar, with $66,799. As one of the only 3 Asian countries on this list, Qatar's rise to become one of the richest countries in the world is relatively recent. Up until the early 1900s, the tiny country was extremely poor and relied on its only substantial industry in the form of pearl diving. But things started to change very quickly by the year 1939, when oil reserves were first discovered in the country while it was still a British protectorate. Qatar started exporting oil by 1949, and it soon became its biggest source of revenue. By the early 1970s, Qatar finally became independent, and its budding oil industry started to skyrocket the small country's economy out of proportions. Today, Qatar is known globally as the 3rd largest exporter of natural gas, as well as having one of the largest proven natural gas reserves. Although Qatar's petroleum industry was responsible for its unprecedented growth, its over-reliance on this same resource also serves as a major vulnerability for the country's economy. Compared to a diverse economy such as the United States, for example, the collapse of only one industry could single-handedly crumble Qatar's economy. So, as of the past decade, Qatar has been focused on diversifying its economy by developing the country's tourism sector, investing heavily on the state-owned Qatar Airways, and hosting the recently concluded Qatar World Cup. Number 11. Singapore, $66,822. Similar to Qatar's rapid ascent to the top of the world's richest countries, Singapore's economic growth is often referred to as a miracle. Up until the Second World War, Singapore was a measly island nation on the southern tip of the Malay Peninsula with not much going for itself. Singapore's post-independence economic boom is largely attributed to the leadership of Lee Kuan Yew and the full utilization of the country's strategic location as a global hub. Today, the port of Singapore is the world's second busiest, only behind the port of Shanghai. Singapore's location in Southeast Asia, in close proximity to major economies such as Japan, China, and Australia, also makes it an ideal global hub for many multinational corporations looking to expand in the Asia-Pacific region. Because of its lack of any substantial natural resource, Singapore mainly relies on re-exporting raw goods, such as electronics and chemicals, along with a developed tourism sector to support its economy. Interestingly, although Singapore is considered to be a global hub for privately owned companies, its national government actually plays an important role in the country's economy, since it has major stakes in many of the country's largest companies, such as Singapore Airlines and Singtel. In 10th place is Australia, with $66,916. As the sixth largest economy in the world by total land area, Australia is extremely gifted when it comes to natural resources. From the 19th century up until the turn of the 1970s, the country's extensive mining industry sparked a period of continuous economic growth, enabling its coastal city centers to rapidly develop and modernize. As for its economy today, Australia has since transitioned towards the service sector, which makes up an overwhelming majority of the country's workforce at around 80%. Much of the country's workforce are employed in major industries such as healthcare, finance, and education, concentrated in cities such as Sydney and Melbourne. Number 9. Denmark, $68,037. Denmark is often ranked as one of the countries with the highest quality of life in the entire world. This is made possible by the country's extremely stable economy and high levels of government spending going towards social services such as healthcare and education, which Danish citizens enjoy almost completely free. Similar to Australia, Denmark's workforce is dominated by the services sector, which employs as much as 80% of the country's labor force, with a strong focus on industries such as food processing, medicine, electronics, and specialized machinery and instruments. Aside from the service sector, Denmark also has a substantial agriculture sector, which has historically sustained the country's economy through foreign trade. In fact, more than 60% of the country's land is used for agricultural production, one of the highest in the world. Number 8 is Iceland, with $69,133. As a small island nation in the middle of the North Atlantic with a population of only 370,000 people, it can be quite difficult at first glance to determine how this tiny country managed to be among the richest in the world. Iceland's economy is actually quite small and volatile given its reliance on only a few key industries such as tourism, fishing, and manufacturing. Its tourism sector alone accounts for more than a third of the entire country's GDP, making it one of the most tourist-dependent in the entire world. This reality became even more evident during the global pandemic that almost completely stopped all tourism at the start of 2020. Number 7. United States, with $69,185. The United States needs no introduction when it comes to the richest countries in the world. It is by far the largest economy on Earth, making up almost a quarter of the entire world's GDP. Spanning an entire continent from coast to coast, the U.S. is abundant with many different natural resources and crucial arable land. This has made it possible for the country to continuously grow, sustain, and develop its ever-growing population and economy. The U.S. gained its dominant position on the world stage thanks to its vast natural gas and oil reserves and robust agricultural sector. And as of the turn of the 21st century, the country has become a leading figure when it comes to technological innovation. The U.S. also serves as the forefront when it comes to many different industries and sectors, such as medicine, finance, entertainment, aerospace, and military. A vast majority of the world's most profitable companies are based in the U.S. as well, contributing heavily to the national economy. Number 6. Norway, $89,242. Often ranked among the top 10 happiest countries on Earth, Norway is a nation that enjoys a very high standard of living through its robust social welfare system that is supported by the country's vast petroleum and natural gas industry, primarily concentrated by the North Sea. Much of the country's oil infrastructure is state-owned, ensuring that the resource is kept closely monitored, as it serves as the primary export of the country, amounting up to more than half of all national exports. Fifth place goes to Switzerland with $93,525. Switzerland is known globally for their historic banking industry, which is emblematic of the mountainous country located in Central Europe. The country's historical neutrality throughout various international conflicts has brought with it a high level of stability and wealth that made it possible for its banking industry to grow and flourish. This neutrality helped attract foreign investment to the country and cemented its place as an international financial hub. It is estimated that almost a third of all offshore funds are kept in Swiss banks. The financial sector alone accounts for 12% of Switzerland's GDP and is one of the most sophisticated in the world. In addition to the Swiss banking industry, the country is also an attractive tourist destination, with its more than 300 ski resorts scattered all throughout the Swiss Alps, generating a sizable chunk of the country's GDP. Switzerland also has a substantial manufacturing sector with a focus on pharmaceuticals, chemicals, and watches. Number 4. Ireland, $101,109. The Irish economy is one that is known as a knowledge economy, specializing in highly technical and scientific industries such as biotechnology, finance, and agribusiness. Ireland has a favorable corporate tax rate, making the country a prime location for many foreign companies to operate in Europe. This scenario has made the Irish economy heavily influenced by foreign-owned multinational corporations. Third place is Luxembourg with $133,745. As we get closer to number 1, the countries become smaller and smaller. With a population of just 640,000 people, Luxembourg's success is made possible by its largest sector, banking. Similar to that of Switzerland, Luxembourg also has strict banking secrecy practices that make the country attractive to many wealthy individuals and corporations. Efforts have been made for the country to transition over to more sectors in order to diversify its economy. As a culturally rich and historic country, tourism has also become a growing industry within the country, amounting up to 8% of the nation's GDP. Luxembourg also has a significant steel and metallurgy sector that serves as one of the country's main exports. Second place is Liechtenstein with $169,260. The Principality of Liechtenstein is a microstate located in the European Alps, bordered by Switzerland to the west and Austria to the east. As it is the trend for these exceptionally small and wealthy countries, Liechtenstein's economy was also built around the banking and finance sector, catering to extremely wealthy individuals and corporations as a tax haven. One interesting fact about Liechtenstein is that there are substantially more registered companies in the country compared to its actual population, with more than 70,000 companies and just 39,000 citizens. And finally, in first place is Monaco, with a GDP per capita of $234,317. Monaco and wealth are two words that are almost synonymous with each other. With a total land area of just over 2 square kilometers, Monaco is the second smallest sovereign state in the world, only behind the Vatican. The country is known far and wide for its zero income tax and incredibly low tax rates for businesses, drawing the wealthiest elite to establish residence in the country. In fact, of its 38,000 residents, only an estimated 9,500 are actually native Monegasque. Because of the country's prestige as a place only for the wealthiest individuals, Monaco actually has and maintains a zero poverty rate within the country. Monaco's economy is mainly driven by two industries, banking and tourism, with banking and finance being attractive for many wealthy individuals and large corporations seeking to cut costs on taxation and preserve their large sums of money. For tourism, on the other hand, many people visit the country for its pleasant climate, beautiful scenery, gambling, and its massive events like the Formula One Grand Prix. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to the Top. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.